Fatehpur Sikri is a city in the Agra district of Uttar Pradesh, India. Previously city name was Vijaypur Sikari of Sikarwar Rajput clan. Later city was founded in 1569 by the Emperor Akbar, and served as the capital of the Mughal Empire from 1571 to 1585. After his military victories over Chittor and Ranthambore, Akbar decided to shift his capital from Agra to a new location 23 miles W.S.W. on the Sikari ridge, to honor the Sufi saint Salim Chishti. Here he commenced the construction of a planned walled city which took the next 15 years in planning and construction of a series of royal palaces, harem, courts, a mosque, private quarters and other utility buildings. He named the city Fatehpur, with Fateh, a word of Arabic origin in Persian, meaning victorious. It was later called Fatehpur Sikri. It is at Fatehpur Sikri that the legends of Akbar and his famed courtiers, the Nine Jewels or Navaratnas, were born. Fatehpur Sikri is one of the best preserved collections of Indian Mughal architecture in India. According to contemporary historians, Akbar took a great interest in the building of Fatehpur Sikri and probably also dictated its architectural style. Seeking to revive the splendors of Persian court ceremonial made famous by his ancestor Timur, Akbar planned the complex on Persian principles. But the influences of his adopted land came through in the typically Indian embellishments. The easy availability of sandstone in the neighboring areas of Fatehpur Sikri also meant that all the buildings here were made of the red stone. The imperial palace complex consists of a number of independent pavilions arranged in formal geometry on a piece of level ground, a pattern derived from Arab and Central Asian tent encampments. In its entirety, the monuments at Fatehpur Sikri thus reflect the genius of Akbar in assimilating diverse regional architectural influences within a holistic style that was uniquely his own. The imperial complex was abandoned in 1585, shortly after its completion, due to the exhaustion of the small, spring-fed lake that supplied the city with water, and its proximity with the Rajputana areas in the northwest, which were increasingly in turmoil. Thus the capital was shifted to Lahore so that Akbar could have a base in the less stable part of the empire, before moving back to Agra in 1598. Where he had begun his reign, as he shifted his focus to Deccan. In fact, he never returned to the city except for a brief period in 1601. In later Mughal history it was occupied for a short while by Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah and his regent, Sayyid Hussain Ali Khan Baha. One of the Sayyid brothers was murdered here in 1720. The palaces were occupied by the Marathas after their conquest of Delhi, then transferred to the British Army, which used the fortified complex as a headquarters and barracks. Restoration began under Lord Curzon. Because the palace area has been in nearly continuous use over the centuries, much of the imperial complex, which spread over nearly 2-mile long and 1-mile wide area, is largely intact. It is still surrounded by a 5-mile long wall built during its original construction on 3 sides. However, apart from the imperial buildings complex and the magnificent mosque, which continues in use, little of the city survives. The former site of the city is mostly barren, except of ruins of the bazaars of the old city near the Norbak Khana, the Drum House entrance at Agra Road. The modern town lies at the western end of the complex, which was a municipality from 1865 to 1904, and later made a notified area and in 1901 had a population of 7,147. For a long time it was still known for its masons and stone carvers, though in Akbar time it was known for fabrics of hair and silk spinning. The village of Sikari still exists nearby. Architecture. Fatehpur Sikri sits on rocky ridge, 3 kilometers in length and 1 kilometer wide, and Palace City is surrounded by a 6 kilometers wall on 3 sides, with the 4th bordered by a lake. Its architects were Tuhidas and Dhruv Chawla and was constructed using Indian principles. The buildings of Fatehpur Sikri show a synthesis of various regional schools of architectural craftsmanship such as Gujarat and Bengal. This was because indigenous craftsmen were used for the construction of the buildings. Influences from Hindu and Jain architecture are seen hand in hand with Islamic elements. The building material used in all the buildings at Fatehpur Sikri Palace City Complex is the locally quarried red sandstone, known as Sikri sandstone. It is accessed through gates along the 5 miles long fort wall, namely, Delhi Gate, the Lal Gate, the Agra Gate, Birbals Gate, Chandanpal Gate, the Gwalior Gate, the Tera Gate, the Chor Gate and the Ajmer Gate. Some of the important buildings in this city, both religious and secular, are Buland Darwaza, set into the south wall of Congregational Mosque. The Jama Masjid at Fatehpur Sikri is 55 meters high from the outside, gradually making a transition to a human scale in the inside. The gate was added some 5 years after the completion of the mosque c. 1576 to 1577 as a victory arch, to commemorate Akbar's successful Gujarat campaign. It carries 2 inscriptions in the archway, one of which reads, Isa, son of Maryam said, "The world is a bridge, pass over it, but build no houses on it. He who hopes for an hour may hope for eternity. The world endures but an hour. Spend it in prayer, for the rest is unseen." The central portico comprises 3 arched entrances, with the largest one, in the center, is known locally as the Horseshoe Gate, after the custom of nailing horseshoes to its large wooden doors for luck. Outside the giant steps of the Buland Darwaza to left is Deep Well, Jama Masjid. It is a Jama mosque, meaning the congregational mosque, and was perhaps one of the first buildings to be constructed in the complex, as its epigraph gives R979 as the date of its completion, with a massive entrance to the courtyard. The Buland Darwaza added some 5 years later. It was built in the manner of Indian mosques, with iwans around a central courtyard. A distinguishing feature is the row of chhatri over the sanctuary. There are 3 mihrabs in each of the 7 bays. While the large central mihrab is covered by a dome, it is decorated with white marble inlay in geometric patterns. Tomb of Salim Chishti, a white marble-encased tomb of the Sufi saint Salim Chishti, within the Jama Masjid's San courtyard. The single-story structure is built around a central square chamber, within which is the grave of the saint, under an ornate wooden canopy encrusted with mother-of-pearl mosaic. Surrounding it is a covered passageway for circumambulation, with carved jalis, stone-pierced screens all around with intricate geometric design, and an entrance to the south. The tomb is influenced by earlier mausolei of the early 15th century Gujarat Sultanate period. Other striking features of the tomb are white marble serpentine brackets, which support sloping eaves around the parapet. On the left of the tomb, to the east, stands a red sandstone tomb of Islam Khan I, son of Sheikh Badruddin Chishti and grandson of Sheikh Salim Chishti, who became a general in the Mughal army in the reign of Jahangir. The tomb is topped by a dome and 36 small domed chatris and contains a number of graves, some unnamed, all male descendants of Sheikh Salim Chishti. Divan-i-Am or Hall of Public Audience, is a building typology found in many cities where the ruler meets the general public. In this case, it is a pavilion-like multi-bayed rectangular structure fronting a large open space. Southwest of the Divan-i-Am and next to the Turkic Sultana's house stand Turkic baths. Divan-i-Khas. The Divan-i-Khas or Hall of Private Audience, is a plain square building with 4 chatris on the roof. However, it is famous for its central pillar, which has a square base and an octagonal shaft, both carved with bands of geometric and floral designs. Further, its 36 serpentine brackets support a circular platform for Akbar, which is connected to each corner of the building on the first floor by 4 stone walkways. It is here that Akbar had representatives of different religions discuss their faiths and gave private audience. Abad Khana. Anup Talao. Anup Talao was built by Raja Anup Singh Sikarwar, a ornamental pool with a central platform and 4 bridges leading up to it. Some of the important buildings of the royal enclave are surrounded by it, including Quabgar Akbar's residence, Panch Mahal, a 5-story palace, Divanai Khas, Ankmashola, and the astrologer's seat, in the southwest corner of the Parcheesi court. Hujra-i Anup Talao, said to be the residence of Akbar's Muslim wife, although this is disputed due to its small size. Mariam-uz-Zaman's palace. The building of Akbar's Rajput wives, including Mariam-uz-Zamani, shows Gujarati influence and is built around a courtyard, with special care being taken to ensure privacy. Naubat Khana, also known as Nikah Khana, meaning a drum house, where musicians used drums to announce the arrival of the emperor. It is situated ahead of the Hathi Pole Gate or the Elephant Gate, the south entrance to the complex, suggesting that it was the imperial entrance. Parcheesi Court, a square marked out as a large board game, the precursor to modern-day Ludo game where people served as the playing pieces. Panch Mahal, a 5-storied palatial structure, with the tiers gradually diminishing in size, till the final one, which is a single large domed chhatri. The floors are supported by intricately carved columns on each level, totaling to 176 columns in all. Birbal's house, the house of Akbar's favorite minister, who was a Hindu. Notable features of the building are the horizontal sloping sunshades or charjas and the brackets which support them. Recent excavation done by ASI in 2000 led to unearthing of an ancient Jain city very near to the fort complex. Other buildings included Taxil, Daftar Khana, Karkhanas, Khazana, Turkic-style baths, Darofas quarters, stables, caravanserai, Hakim's quarters, etc. Demographics. Fatehpur Sikri has a population of 28,757. Males constitute 53% of the population and females 47%. Fatehpur Sikri has an average literacy rate of 46%, lower than the national average of 74%. Male literacy is 57%, and female literacy is 34%. In Fatehpur Sikri, 59% of the population is under 6 years of age. Administration. Fatehpur Sikri is one of the 15 block headquarters in the Agra district. It has 52 gram panchayats under it. The Fatehpur Sikri is a constituency of the Lok Sabha, lower house of the Indian Parliament, and further comprises 5 Vidhan Sabha segments. Agra Rural. Fatehpur Sikri. Karagar. Fatarabad. Bar. In all there are 12 villages of Sisodia Rajputs near Fatehpur Sikri Fort in Agra district. These are Daltabad, Nayavas, Satha, Korai, Berawati, Baira, Undera, Karkara, Singapur, Vijaypur, Onira, Arua. Transport. Fatehpur Sikri is about 39 kilometers from Agra. The nearest airport is Agra Airport, 40 kilometers from Fatehpur Sikri. The nearest railway station is Fatehpur Sikri Railway Station, about 1 kilometer from the city centre. It is connected to Agra and neighbouring centres by road, where regular bus services operated by UPSRTC ply, in addition to tourist buses and taxis. Gallery. Buland Darwaza. Buland Darwaza. Buland Darwaza Bak. Anarkali Darwaja, where Anarkali is said to have fled from Fatehpur Sikri. Nawab Islam Khan's tomb. King's Gate. King's Gate. Entrance to Queen's Palace. Divanai Khas. Mariam-uz-Zamani House. Anup Talao. The platform in the middle was used for singing competitions. Anup Talao Platform. Anup Talao Mughal Architecture. Anup Talao Beauty. Security Office. Gate at Fatehpur.